Don't doubt God's competence. He has never failed. There are moments in life when everything around you seems to challenge your faith. You pray, yet nothing changes. You fast, yet the doors remain closed. You believe, yet the pain continues. And slowly, silently, doubt begins to whisper, maybe God cannot handle this. Maybe this situation is too difficult. Maybe heaven has forgotten you. But today, hear this clearly. God has never lost a battle. God has never failed an assignment. God has never been confused by any situation. The God who created the universe does not panic over your circumstance. The same God who made the blind see, the lame walk, the dead rise, and the Red Sea part is still alive today. His power has not reduced. His competence has not expired. His wisdom has not weakened. Sometimes we doubt God, not because he has failed, but because we cannot see what he is doing behind the scenes. Faith means trusting God, even when heaven seems silent. Joseph trusted God inside the prison before he entered the palace. David trusted God while hiding in caves before wearing the crown. Abraham trusted God before Isaac was born. Noah trusted God before rain ever fell. Every great testimony begins with a season where nothing makes sense. You may not understand the delay. You may not understand the process. You may not understand the pain. But never mistake silence for absence. God can be working quietly. A seed grows under the ground before it appears above the surface. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is no progress. Some of the greatest miracles happen invisibly before they become visible. Do not allow temporary circumstances to make you question eternal power. God is too wise to make mistakes. God is too faithful to abandon you. God is too powerful to fail. There are people who trusted their own strength and collapsed. There are people who trusted money and became disappointed. There are people who trusted connections and were betrayed. But those who trust in God discover that his ability has no limit. When God says yes, nobody can stop it. When God opens a door, no human can shut it. When God lifts a man, no enemy can bring him down. Do not doubt God, because the journey is difficult. Even Jesus slept in the storm, while the disciples panicked. Why? Because heaven was never afraid of the waves. The storm that scares you does not intimidate God. What you call impossible is small before him. Cancer is not bigger than God. Delay is not bigger than God. Rejection is not bigger than God. Failure is not bigger than God. Barrenness is not bigger than God. Lack is not bigger than God. Your situation may be hard for humans, but it is not hard for heaven. God specializes in impossible situations. If people can explain it, then it is not a miracle. If science can fully define it, then it is ordinary. But when God steps in, natural laws bow. He makes ways in deserts. He brings water from rocks. He feeds thousands with little. He turns shame into honor. Do not judge God based on your timetable. One of the greatest causes of doubt is impatience. We live in a world where people want instant answers, instant blessings, instant miracles, and instant success. But God works with purpose, not pressure. Sometimes delay is preparation. A child cannot drive a car safely at age 5, even if the child cries for the keys. God sees what you do not see. He knows the dangers ahead. He understands timing. He knows when the blessing will help you and when it could destroy you. That is why trusting him matters. Some prayers are delayed because God is protecting you from future pain. Imagine Joseph becoming prime minister too early before his character matured. Imagine David becoming king before learning humility in the wilderness. Preparation often looks like punishment until the blessing arrives. Never confuse God's process with God's rejection. God's competence includes His timing. You must also understand that God does not think like humans. Humans focus on appearances. God focuses on purpose. Humans look at present pain. God looks at future glory. Humans panic over temporary problems. God sees the complete picture. That is why faith is powerful. Faith says, even if I do not understand, I still trust God. Faith says, even if the answer delays, I know God is working. Faith says, even when people laugh at me, I will still believe. Some of the strongest believers are people who survived seasons where they had nothing except faith, and somehow God brought them through. There are testimonies you cannot explain logically. People who should have failed but succeeded. People who should have died but survived. People who lost everything yet recovered greater blessings. That is the competence of God. God does not need human permission to bless you. He can raise helpers from unexpected places. He can create opportunities where none exist. He can turn enemies into instruments of favor. One encounter with God can change your entire story. Never forget this. Your weakness does not reduce God's strength. Even when you are tired, He is still powerful. Even when you cry, He is still faithful. Even when you are confused, He still knows the way. God is not nervous about your future. Sometimes believers behave as though heaven is running out of solutions. But God has unlimited wisdom. Before your problem appeared, God already knew the answer. Before the sickness came, He already knew the cure. Before the betrayal happened, He already prepared restoration. Before the disappointment came, He already arranged another opportunity. Nothing surprises God. That should give you peace. When you truly believe in God's competence, anxiety loses power over your heart. You stop living in fear. You stop panicking over every situation. You stop assuming the worst. Instead, you begin to pray with confidence. Because confidence in prayer comes from confidence in God's ability. Do not allow social media pressure to destroy your faith. Many people compare their lives with others and begin doubting God. Why is their life moving faster? Why are they succeeding? Why am I still waiting? But comparison is dangerous. God writes different stories for different people. Some people bloom early, some bloom later. But late blooming does not mean failure. A diamond and a seed do not develop at the same speed. Your journey is unique. God is not competing with anyone. Focus on trusting Him. The God who lifted others can still lift you. The God who healed others can still heal you. The God who restored others can still restore you. Do not allow disappointment to turn into bitterness. Bitterness weakens faith. Some people stop believing because one prayer was not answered the way they expected. But maturity means trusting God even when outcomes differ from your expectations. Sometimes God says, yes. Sometimes God says, wait. Sometimes God says, I have something better. But in all things, He remains good. You may cry at night, but morning can still come. Your story is not over yet. One phone call can change your life. One opportunity can rewrite your future. One divine encounter can remove years of struggle. Do not quit before your breakthrough arrives. The enemy wants you to become tired and hopeless, because once people lose confidence in God, they lose strength to continue. Protect your faith carefully. Feed your spirit with God's word. Pray consistently. Surround yourself with encouragement. Avoid voices that constantly produce fear and negativity. Faith grows where truth is planted. And the truth is this: God is still competent. He is competent in storms, competent in delays, competent in battles, competent in confusion, competent in suffering, competent in restoration. There has never been a situation beyond His control. Even when Lazarus died, Jesus still arrived with resurrection power. Even when the Israelites stood before the Red Sea, God still made a pathway. Even when Daniel entered the lion's den, Heaven still shut the lions' mouths. What makes you think your situation is too difficult for God? The same God who carried others can carry you too. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not alone. Your waiting season is not wasted. God is building strength inside you. God is developing patience inside you. God is creating a testimony through your struggle. And one day, what made you cry will become part of your testimony. People will ask, how did you survive that? How did you overcome? How did you remain strong? And your answer will be simple. God was competent. Today, choose faith over fear. Choose trust over anxiety. Choose prayer over panic. Do not let temporary trouble make you permanently doubt God. The chapter may be difficult, but God is still writing your story. And when heaven finishes the story, it will make sense. So keep praying. Keep believing. Keep standing. Keep hoping. Because God has not failed you, and He never will. No matter what happens around you, remember this forever. God is still able. God is still powerful. God is still working. God is still faithful. Do not doubt God's competence.